And I want to thank my colleague Deputy Thomas Byrne for bringing forward this private member's motion. I want to also say to you, Minister, that we must ensure, as everybody would endorse in this House, that all children, particularly those with special needs, get and are provided with the necessary resources and supports the need to reach the maximum potential. But that's what it's about, each person reaching their maximum potential. And we must acknowledge all the school principals and teachers and SNAs and all those people that's involved in doing such wonderful work in this area. But as all my colleagues have alluded to, Minister, one of the biggest problems is in the area of assessment of need. There's a huge waiting time for the assessment of need, over 2 years. But there's another problem. The assessment of need for children that's starting school at primary or going up to post-primary level, or even moving within those primary or post-primary classes, and that needs further assessments done for obviously their development and make sure they get the proper supports and services, that there's no alignment between that and the school being able to make the application to the department by the set date for the additional resources and supports, because the assessment of needs sometimes aren't carried out until that child has maybe started school or is halfway through the school year. And then when it's identified what they need, that child has lost valuable time. They're the most vulnerable and obviously are falling behind. And then for the school to make that application into the system, it's much slower and sometimes is refused. So the school principals and the board's management are telling me that what would be good if that could be better aligned when they're making their applications in the first quarter or 5 months of the school year for the following school year. So that's something maybe that needs to be looked at. There is a problem there with the application process for the schools making to the department for additional supports and services for children with special needs coming into the school, and that's mainly caused because the assessment of needs are not being carried out in time, and there's no alignment with them and the schools making their application to the department. And we need to look at new bills, Minister, because at the planning and design stage there needs to be an inclusion for these special units in primary and post-primary schools, which isn't happening at all times, because, as my other colleague said, there is families and children having to travel long distances to special education units because they're not nearby, and it's something that needs to be addressed. And if I can finally just mention, please, Concordia, is that with the special intervention units, we had a serious problem in my constituency earlier this year, and thanks to you, Minister, you met with the families and you assisted us in that being overcome. But there needs to be a better system of the parents of the children being listened to. But that issue went on for over 8 months. It was unnecessary, and they weren't given an ear and they weren't listened to. And who was suffering? The most vulnerable, which was the child. So there has to be more accountability and responsibility given, and made people aware and make them take account for us at those units.
Thank you for your cooperation also.